Okay, so apparently they were sitting down at a board meeting one time, and I don't know the CEO's name, but his VP, was like, "Hey, maybe we should raise the price of hot dogs
Oh, yeah.
just a little bit." So the CEO, is like, let's go outside for a second, me and you. They go outside. He tells him, "If you raise the price of a hot dogs, I will end you right here and right now." At that point, I'm like, all right, it stays at 150. I don't want the smoke.
Welcome to Georgia on my mic.
I'm Juan Estrada.
I'm Zay Brewer.
I'm Caroline Cole. Start us off. We've got a lot going on in Atlanta this week. Hawks are at State Farm March 1st, Sunday at 6 p.m. You've got former volleyball player here, so shouting out the volleyball teams. We have Atlanta Vibe. They play at Georgia South Arena, 3 p.m. on Sunday. And then at the Gateway Center, an LOVB, another pro volleyball league, plays at 3 o'clock. And then Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is coming to the Fox Theater this weekend as well. Saturday at 7:30 and Sunday at 1 and 7. Just finished up the Olympics. Two huge gold medals from the men's and women's hockey teams. First men's gold since 1980.
1980. That's crazy. Because the 80s was like now 40 years ago, like 46 years ago. Does anybody here still think that 2005 wasn't but like 10 years ago? It feels that way, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but for me, time got super distorted when COVID happened.
Well, I'm born in 2003, so 2005 kind of does feel a long time ago, but
Oh, Lord, you were born in 2003?
I was too, but look, all I'm going to say is this. When you have people born in 2012, like in high school, that's what's hitting me. I'm just like,
they're driving the cars. They're the ones on the road in Atlanta.
my cousin, she's like 13 and she's on TikTok, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like
TikTok,
baby.
wait, wasn't TikTok like supposed to be banned at some point, or was that just like a pipe dream, a fever dream?
What happened is it got banned, but China sold it. That's what, yeah.
Unbanned, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and now they're allowing 13-year-olds on TikTok, but aren't phones banned in schools now? Like, isn't that a thing?
Yeah, they're trying to make a move in Kentucky, they kind of are too. They're trying to make a move to at least having elementary school kids at least put their phones away or different things, which I kind of agree with because they're not learning anything. And also with ChatGPT, everyone's just throwing everything in a prompt.
Even with us, like for people our age, I don't think we grew up with phones in the school until like maybe late middle school.
Oh yeah, no,
or like
I didn't get
high
my first
school.
phone until like 7th grade, 8th grade.
Yeah, so it's like these kids are like literally from the pamper to graduation with electronics. So it's interesting.
Okay, so I've been on TikTok, but like 5 minutes at a time because my old man brain can't handle it. So wouldn't like being on TikTok for X amount of time like just fry your brain altogether? Or is that just like me in my old age experiencing that?
So they call it brain rot, actually. It's kind of like when people talk in like if you've ever heard like 6-7 and like all these little things that kids do, and honestly a lot of adults, and that's like TikTok brain rot of people being on it way too much. Yeah, no, I think, and actually there's some court cases going on now, I think, about appealing for like 13 and younger age kids, like suing. I think Mark Zuckerberg's getting sued and other people, which I totally agree. Social media is a brutal place. People say a lot of things behind a screen. So I definitely don't think you need, honestly, 13, but you'll have 10-year-olds and stuff on TikTok. It's crazy.
Well, it's also a ground for, you know, bad actors, right? Especially with the fact that these younger kids now are growing up with all of these electronics, all these social media. Like I said, they literally are in the pamper. I was at the store once and I saw literally a 2-year-old. Like, I think I asked the parent. I was like, "How old is this kid?" The 2-year-old, and the kid could barely talk, but he was like just like doing all kinds of stuff on the cell phone. It was like an iPhone. It was nuts. But anyway, because of that, it just opens up. You see even like stuff like Roblox, like predators going there,
and it's addictive too.
Yeah.
You see it with these kids, even like in my like niece nephew, like they run a pretty strict program with their TV time. But when you would get them off the TV or whatever, kids turn into like menaces after you take them off the TV, and it's like, I mean, good luck. So it's crazy how entranced they get with that, and then you turn it off, and you are enemy number one. It is. Social media is a dangerous game, and I don't think there are nearly enough guidelines for how quickly it's getting pushed on people right now.
So when I was growing up in the early 2000s, when you guys were not even born, when I was growing up, smartphones weren't a thing. Did you guys ever have you guys ever seen a Razor phone or phones with buttons on them?
Yeah. BlackBerry, yeah.
Okay, so those did exist at least when you guys were conscious, at least somewhat.
I have older siblings. I played the Blockbuster on the BlackBerry.
Yeah, do you guys remember Snake?
Oh yes, played Snake. Yeah.
And the goal was to get your whole screen full of these pixels because you're eating like little mice and you get bigger every time. So that's what we grew up with. Nothing other social media stuff. But so my question is the brain rot thing exclusive to the kids now, or was it also your guys' thing? Because we didn't have anything like that.
I would say it's more kids now, but it kind of goes into us too, because especially people our age, it's just to fill the time. Because, most of the time with work, your 40-hour weeks, either you don't have enough work to do 40 hours or you have 80 hours worth of work. So it's kind of no in between. So a lot of people are sitting at their desk, not doing anything. In TikTok, the way the algorithm works, it just matches exactly what you're enjoying watching. So you can sit there and scroll for hours, and then you look and you're like, oh wow, I just wasted 3 hours of my day. But that's why they do have screen time limits and things you can set. So, but it kind of, yeah.
So I know for people like us and who were born in the early 2000s, we kind of got to situations like you where you had older siblings. So the things what you're talking about, the phones with buttons and all that, they're not things that we just don't know. But we kind of started to grow up, I would say, around when things like iPhones and smartphones just generally started to become a thing, and social, Instagram, things like that. So I would say, I think the last time I remember my parents having phones that weren't smartphones was maybe 2011.
2011? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know when mine was. My parents used to have, though, when they'd take me on trips or go to tournaments and stuff, they had the paper directions. You'd have 40 pages printed out to go hours. And they'd pop those out, and it's midnight and we're doing circles. So I definitely don't miss that. But phones, yeah, it's social media, and it's just such a moneymaker right now. I mean, you see it with Mark Zuckerberg and these other billionaires that are profiting off of a lot of children and people being exploited, and especially X is one of the worst places with it. Does not have lots of clearance with pretty much anything can go. Anything can get posted and things like that. So you definitely have to be.
Yeah. If hell existed on social media, that's X.
It would be X?
It would absolutely be X.
Have you guys heard of something called Reddit or 4chan?
I mean, people still use Reddit all the time.
But if I would say 4chan would be the hell of the internet.
We can just do a Reddit or an episode where we read Reddit stories there. Reddit is pretty crazy.
Have you guys seen those stories? Was am I the asshole? It's
yes.
It's I cheated on my boyfriend and slapped him in the face, and he stole half of his bank. Am I the asshole?
Reddit
yes.
But maybe not. What did he do?
Reddit's the only place where you could genuinely
find somebody having the exact same problem as you. But it's really ancient. The post is 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, you'll see.
And then you never know if the person got any resolve with it. So it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, Reddit is a different. You think you have a personal experience, and then you get on social media, and you're like, okay, there's no original experience ever. Where everyone has the same dreams, it's crazy how the crossover.
So you know what the Reddit the problem solving my version was way back when? It was Yahoo Answers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
I do know Yahoo Answers. Now if I get like a Yahoo pop-up, I feel like I have somebody's hacked my computer.
Yeah.
Yahoo and Bing, if it pops up for me, I'm like, oh no. I've got malware.
Wow, Yahoo Answers. That just unlocked a memory.
Oh boy, what happened?
No, I was just saying, like, I remember I would kind of like try to get answers up on Yahoo Answers too, but like it's one of those things. Like now, I don't even think does it still exist?
I think it does, but it's like
Do
just
people
suppressed.
still use it?
It's suppressed by the algorithm.
Well, we have Chegg too. Chegg's a big one for college. They still use Chegg, but like there's others now. Oh, I guess ChatGPT is what people use. The key though is so many people in college and probably high school is just copy and paste ChatGPT over, and it's so painfully obvious. It's getting better, but there's M dashes and everything in it. Like
You can kind of tell when it's written by ChatGPT.
I think it's super clear.
Because it has like the little like the dashes.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and I had a friend that wrote letters to some teammates and things using ChatGPT and showed them to me and was like, "Can you read these over?" And I read it over. I was like, ChatGPT, and she was like, "Is that obvious?" I was like, "Yeah, it is that obvious." So it's a new world. So my master's program actually let us use chat in like AI, and they were like, use it to make your work better and like accentuate it. Whereas my bachelor's was like, no AI at all, don't touch it. So it's kind of interesting to see how the education system's growing with AI because it's not going away. And you're encouraged, or at least my job and a lot of other jobs, you're encouraged to use it and make yourself more productive. So it'll be interesting to see how it progresses.
Should it be mandatory to have anything posted with AI with some sort of watermark that says AI?
Oh, that's kind of
I think some of them do that.
it's a hard thing because sometimes AI completely comes up with it, and then sometimes it's just kind of enhancing what you already made.
Yeah.
So I definitely think I feel like pictures and stuff should. Like you'll see people post videos or pictures on, again, social media, and people have full like AI social media accounts that everyone's like looking at this, and you look at it and you're like, this doesn't look right. Or they've all been posted, they've 150 posts, and they started posting 2 months ago. And so it's like, what happened? And so that's AI is really gonna, again, talking about just like predators and people coming, just again, even just toxic situations on social media. AI is not gonna help that with the ability to create pictures and things like that.
Because I want to see if I'm the old head here, because for me, right, the only way I can tell certain things are AI is if I know obviously this wouldn't happen in real life. So like I saw this video of this doorbell, and there was like cats lined up on their hind feet playing instruments, like walking in towards the door. And there's a lady, no, get out of here, get these instruments out of here. Like that's obviously not real, right? Because if it was real, I would definitely let those cats in. But she turned them away. Clearly, it's not real. Can you guys tell what's AI or not just by looking at it without knowing it couldn't possibly happen?
I can. Most of the time I can, but I do get an occasional like you said, one of those Ring doorbell cameras, but it'll be like a mom being chased by like a coyote on the Ring doorbell.
That sounds real. That's terrifying.
So it looks real, but then you kind of really look at it, and it's just kind of like, I mostly just go to the comments.
Yeah.
That's how if I don't know, if I'm like, wow, this is crazy, and I look at everyone's like AI, and I'm like, oh yeah.
But some of them also use the same audios, if that makes sense. So like,
people are good at it. Like they're really good at manipulating.
It's a little scary.
Oh, it is. Well, and it's scary too because you can manipulate it and make someone do something like and post it, especially with famous people and people that are really in the public eye. You post screenshots or things like that, and it's a total like lie, but it looks real. So I don't know if they have ways to like track back to AI. I'm sure they do. At what point, like, is it worth it or is it not? Yeah.
I saw this. I saw it or I read it somewhere, but apparently there was this dude who was pretending to be Brad Pitt, and he, they did the FaceTime. The AI would make it look like him, and he was able to scam this lady off of like tens of thousands of dollars.
I've heard of things like that too.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her, but the funny thing to me is who's paying Brad Pitt like money? Like you're paying like a multimillionaire? But I do think it is promoting the scamming, and like they always tell you like if a scam or like random numbers calling your phone to not say hello first, because like they can use that, they'll like record your voice and use it for like AI and other things. It's crazy. It's a crazy world right now. Yeah, I don't know how it's all going to play out with AI. I definitely don't think it's replacing us anytime soon. I think companies that have done that already, it's premature, and there's way too many errors. They're going to try to because save money, but there's way too many errors. You have to have a like human look it over. Because even when I use it for certain things, sometimes it works great, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, that's not at all what I wanted. So it's still got tons of chinks in the armor. It's just not very. It's from at least a text point from where I've heard in conferences I've been to and things like that. It's kind of like the Industrial Revolution when all the machines came. Everyone was like, no more people.
It's gonna take time.
It will. It'll be interesting to see how it develops. And I've heard, I don't know the details, I've heard it's terrible for the environment with the data centers and things.
Yeah, that's a topic in its own.
Yeah.
So I know for sure AI data centers are terrible for the environments and any one of the communities that surround these data centers. There's your hot take. No, but seriously, they are. So I was one of the attorneys who was representing an environmental group against Georgia Power. We were trying to get them to lower the rates and not to expand the power grid. So the power grid was expanded completely. The environmentalists would say completely arbitrarily. It's got no regard for the cost of our wallets in Georgia, because Georgia Power, whatever they spend, they get to keep 11% like for themselves in their bottom line. So they have the incentive to spend more and more of our money. So when they're expanding the power grid, they want to expand it as much as possible. So they expanded it with a method, at least according to the environmentalists and people who care about climate change, the environment, in a way that's not like measured in any particular way. So I think we went up 10 gigawatts, and I think beforehand we had something around 18. So, and if you guys know anything about technology, over time it gets more efficient, it gets smaller, it's less wasteful. So we're already expanding it speculatively, and knowing that technology is going to get better, we as ratepayers are still going to have to pay for this grid that wasn't necessary to begin with for the next few decades. So data centers are very bad for us, our pockets. They also take up a lot of water. So there's certain types of cooling. I think the cheapest, easiest one, I forget what it does, but that's the one that eats a lot of water. There's another one that's more like, I would make things more expensive. But no, it pollutes the water, it drains our wallets, it forces our governments to put projects onto the burden onto the grid system. And all that Georgia's asking them to do is, hey, pay your fair share. That's it. If you're going to build in our state, and this is what some lawmakers are doing, if you're going to pay it in our state, then you pay for the construction costs. You don't get a tax or as much of a tax break as you want. You bear the burden. But as it is right now, the Georgia, not the ratepayers, Georgia ratepayers, Georgia residents are going to have to pay for this project that is not only bad for the environment, but also is based on nothing other than Georgia Power making that 11%.
Yeah, one thing I noticed too is that they really, with the data centers, they target a lot of kind of like exurban growing areas. So like, I know that like they target places like Coweta County and or some other places I've heard them going towards, like maybe, kind of like these counties are like right out of the suburbs or right outside of Atlanta, but like close enough where it's really a lot of opposition from the people who live there for the exact reasons that you outlined. So it's interesting. It's interesting, and it's a growing issue here, but I know especially all over the country, but definitely here because of just the growth, that this state,
the tech in Atlanta as a whole and everything. Well, and I'm sure again, electric cars and just that, which that's declining too right now, but that's something I worry about with AI and just anything like that with the Teslas and the electric cars. It's just like, can people break in and take that over? Like, I don't know how it all works and how it all plays out. So that definitely does freak me out a little bit when I'm driving past them on I-85.
Have y'all taken the Waymos yet?
No. I've been in a Waymo a couple times.
Did it work?
Oh yeah, it did work. Well, the first one actually, we chased it down the block because it was not working. But it will sometimes it has to like, you have to get close enough for it to unlock. And sometimes it doesn't really work that well. So they're hit or miss, but I wasn't in this Waymo, but I was behind it in a roundabout near my apartment and it was stalled. I don't know what happened, but tons of traffic and it just was not moving. No lights on. So I'm not crazy about that. I also just again think it's a way to not pay people. It's just kind of avoiding giving people like Uber drivers, Lyft drivers that extra income. They're just trying to replace them and I'm not really sold on the self-driving cars. I don't think we're there yet and I think that it's too dangerous of a situation to have cars going 80 miles an hour to
The first time I saw one of those, I was freaked out. Like it was like I had never seen one before, so I was just like out on the street talking to a buddy of mine. He lives in Atlanta. It was just driving, but it was driving slow, and I was like, I've never seen this. But I instantly was like, I don't trust these things yet.
And you can get in the driver's seat too, which is weird. You're not driving. They don't like you to do it, but you can. But yeah, no, and you're just not driving. And those are like completely tech run. And I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of smart people in this world that could take that over. And so I've been in them, but I only like twice.
So how does it know that it's?
It's from your phone. So it's like connected, kind of like a QR code, but like just a connection. And that's how you unlock the car and stuff. And then if it doesn't work, you call the service number and that's miserable. But yeah, it's a really weird, it's like I said, I think it's again just another cop out to try to not pay people and do those things. But I don't know how long they'll last. There's definitely mixed reviews and I know a lot of people aren't crazy about them.
I don't ever see anybody in them. I think I saw one lady actually in a Waymo once.
Really?
But out of maybe 9 times out of 10, I usually don't see anybody in them. I just see them driving around.
Okay, so how does a Waymo work? Is it like off of Uber and then you like just pick Waymo? Is it cheaper?
I don't know. I didn't pay for the one that I was in. It was with friends, but I don't know if it's cheaper. It's mainly in big cities. Like other places don't have them. It's pretty much like Atlanta or like downtown places would have them. I like over here, there's I'm sure no Waymos and like I'm near Brookhaven, there aren't really any. So but again, it's just another AI. They're really weird though. Mixed reviews, and they kind of are the same thing as if you've ever seen those little DoorDash robots that drive food.
Yeah.
Through things. Yeah. Those are weird too, and like I don't know how they don't get. I don't know how they don't get run over though. Like honestly, like crossing the street and stuff.
Don't they get like stopped by? Don't they get stopped by like any random obstacle?
Probably. I mean, I
actually have seen that happen. Like they do get a little confused. Like they'll go around and just stop, and then they'll go again.
Yeah. No, DoorDash. Yeah. Well, and that's just again another thing they're trying to replace. So they take DoorDash and drivers and Uber Eats drivers, things out of the equation. So they're trying to replace us.
So my question is, so with these giant companies, they get like so many tax breaks, right? Like the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017 lowered the corporate rate from 34 to 21%, I think, 35 to 21. Why do we should, and you just mentioned that, it's a way to pay people less. So why the hell are we trusting these companies that find any reason to undercut their workers, not pay as much? Lay everybody off. Do you guys think that it's crazy that we give them this many benefits and their prerogative is to cut us out as much as they can?
Because they only care about one thing, that's the dollar sign.
Yeah.
And I think that when you really think about it, I mean the people who tend to write legislation like that, not naming any affiliation or anything like that, but I think a lot of the principles of that sort of ideology is to have kind of get this country rich at any cost. I mean, their that kind of mindset is, wealth first and wealth creates wealth for everybody else. And that's just not how it works. I mean, we've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, they trickle down economics.
Right.
People, they think that works. And again, like you said, and I was talking to my parents about this with inflation, absolutely a thing. But you look at the salaries between when my mom was like, I'm making similar to the same money that I made 20 years ago. And she was like, but house prices have gone up the average has gone up $200,000. And so, but you look at the difference, the richest person in the world in 2000 was worth 25 billion. The richest person now is worth 700 billion. So I think it's the key is like realizing and educating and showing people that it's not in your best interest. And the billionaires, you know, money is, it's turns you, can make you greedy. And so I think like seeing that on both sides really, and just it can bring out the worst in people sometimes. And so I think it's just about educating people, especially young people who need to buy houses, need to pay for apartments, have to pay for insurance, cars, things like that, is really showing that the billionaire and those corporations aren't necessarily your best interest. And that is really what's causing lots of the inflating things and all that stuff rather than the lower income side of things.
So do you guys think that that sort of thought, you know, because when growing up, you know, that thought was considered kind of like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. You know, there's not, you know, a bunch of corporations just trying to own, you know, this country, blah, or because this was before Citizens United, which happened in 2011, by the way. So back then, that thought of like, hey, the corporations are not looking out for workers was not mainstream. Like that wasn't the prevalent thought. And I'm guessing that it's becoming more and more prevalent the more young folks grow up. Is it mainstream amongst people in your age group in this day and age?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Gen Z is definitely the most skeptical.
The American dream ever.
I believe it.
And it's, well, I mean, it's kind of because it's like, I mean, you know, Caroline can speak to her situation. It's like, you know, we both are recent graduates. And she, in her case, has a master's degree, and she, you know, she still struggles to find employment, you know, or something that's, you know, she can work to survive off of. You know, I have a bachelor's and I'm working towards my JD, but even with that, when you take into account all of my work experience, it's still hard. You know, like I worked in the United States Senate twice, you know, for two senators, and it's still difficult, you know, like, and so I think, yes, I mean, that's why you even see, you know, with a lot of, I would say, of the rise of to like, you know, democratic socialism with a lot of people, for specifically from the Gen Z generation, is because it's just everybody's just so skeptical. I mean, you got to think of it, it's like we were talking about, like the housing market is a mess. Like I think I saw something the other day. I think like the
Average home buyer now is like closer to 40 or something
Yeah.
like that.
It's, well, the average home cost has gone up from, I think in 2000, like 250,000 to 450,000. Like,
Right.
it's just, that's not something you can put 20% down on. Especially, again, I read something, and now this was a couple months ago, so I don't know what the exact number is, but at one point there was about 65%, I think it was in November-ish, 65% of people in the 2025 college graduating class hadn't found a job yet.
65%,
Yeah, that were
Now,
looking for
okay.
jobs.
And how long ago was that the study? Like between
This was like in November, I think. It was just stats of, yeah. And
So-
I mean, it's while I was looking for a job.
so we're talking like from
It's-
May to November.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's, well, and I mean, I have a master's and played a Division I sport and had good grades and things like that. And I still had, I mean, I sent out hundreds of applications. But the thing right now with it is it's all online. And so, and the key is, which I did it, and advice that you can give to anyone else is that, like, you have to network and go on LinkedIn and reach out to people and create the human connection, which I think our age group's lacking.
Yeah.
And so it's, you just submit your resume into this automatic thing on LinkedIn with 2,000 other people, you're probably going to get thrown out because there's 50 people that have references or connections or things like that. So that's where I really, like, people our age, like, have to boots to the ground and get to know people and get out and actually make those connections, not just online.
You know, after I left, you know, because y'all know I worked in the state capitol as a staffer up until last May, and I was unemployed from May to October, and the only thing that I got was a retail job at the Ollie's Bargain Market nearby. And granted, when you take inflation into account, I was not being paid that well. So like, it's really interesting. Like that's the reality for a lot of people. Like I think I worked with like I've talked with people who even like have like 2 masters and they still struggle to get a job. Like they'll be like in their mid 20s.
Well, and I see it with like even older adults. I mean, my one of my family members' cousin has her PhD, and she struggled for a long time to find a job. Tons of other people in tech specifically, it's a hot market right now, that I knew when I was looking for a job that had been out of job for a year, and they have kids, they have this, and they're like, I don't know how much longer I can like go on with this, and it's just it's crazy. And then you see these things plastered all over. Like my grandmom texted me the other day and like 2 million cybersecurity jobs available, da 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 da, and it's just not right. Because if that was the case, all these people wouldn't be looking for jobs, and so it's just not correct. And like that, but that's spewed everywhere, and these all these jobs and availability, but it's just not prevalent and actual.
That whole like meme, like if you see these memes, like I see them all the time where it's like my grandparents literally like worked at a coffee shop and got like 10 acres of land off of that job.
Yeah.
Like there'll be something like, yeah, my grandpa was like a carpenter and my grandma was like a barista. And like they bought like 15 acres and like was able to make a living and raise 4 kids.
Serving is crazy too because it's such a like tipping, and I have done quite a bit of traveling, and so it's always sobering to go over there and realize that like they don't live off tips. And so like in Europe, a lot of places like it's kind of more offensive to tip, or they definitely know you're American because servers here make $2 an hour, and then you're solely off tips. And so like I have tons of friends that work as servers, and if they come home and are like, yeah, but I had 3 tables that didn't tip. And it's just that you can't do that. Like
Right.
when that's on people. And again, they want to get mad at the server or at the other people, but, or even if it's, especially if it's like a mom and pop shop or whatever, the restaurant, but it just goes higher up that we as a society have made it okay to put it on the consumer. It's all given back to the consumer of like, you need to tip them.
Right.
And so now it's tipping culture's just gone insane in the US with all they're always flipping the iPad at you at every place, and you're like, aren't you salaried? So like it's hard to but it's hard to know where the tip's going. Like if I'm tipping a Starbucks worker, is it going to Starbucks or is it going to this girl that was my barista? And so there's like no guidelines on it, and you know how many people tip because they feel bad to hit the zero on there, and even though the person's making $15-20 an hour maybe, so it's like it's a real like catch 22 of you don't know when you should you tip, when should you not, and it just comes down to people not being paid correctly.
My family, we just still tip in cash.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the way to get around it. Because we I went to like a Korean barbecue place one time. We got the check. Already made me
Oh
tip
yeah.
in the gratuity, and then they asked me for another tip, and I'm just like, where's the first one?
Yeah, the 20% mandatory
Yeah,
for.
and I'm just like, where does that one go?
It goes to them, I thought.
If they add the 20%, I tip 20% typically, and then depending on the bill and the situation, so if they already add on 20%, I just keep it that way unless I had like a big party or something. Yeah, no, it's because it's out of control. And like I said, I have friends that are from Europe and other places and did tons traveling this summer, and they're just always stunned to hear that the tipping is such a thing because we don't pay. Because it's $2 an hour. Like it's crazy that, and it's crazy because Florida, I have another friend in Florida, it's $10 an hour plus tips, which that's like huge compared. And so you can make pretty good money in Florida as a server because of that. And it's like that's $10 an hour still is not much. And so it's like that's how big of a difference it makes, and it's that easy. But with the whole culture of it now, tons of restaurants would probably struggle too if they had to switch to that. So it's
especially small.
It's broken, yeah, it's a broken system, and you'd have tons of small businesses going under and more chains coming in. And
so what is like tipping culture now? Because I remember thinking, all of a sudden it went from like 15% to 20%. Like was it always 20%? Is it 20% now? Was it always 20%? I thought it was 15. I always hit 15. And then the iPad started making 20 the minimum, and now I feel like a jerk trying to calculate 15% with my law degree.
I think 20% is the record. I think 20% is generally accepted as like the I think they I don't know if it's like, that's a good question because I don't know if it's more of a thing of the corporate goons trying to guilt trip you or if it genuinely is like the, standard of like, okay, this is what the typical tip, a server would need to, go home okay.
When I'm at restaurants, if I have a server and everything normal, I do 20%. The problem that I get into though is when you're at Panera. They're making regular like 15 an hour, whatever it is.
Starbucks.
And Panera also is already overcharging you for questionable food. So I'm like, I don't want to tip. Right. And so I do feel like, oh, kind of bad, but then it's not the same as a server making $2. Right. And the same thing of like takeout.
You are correct about that.
Takeout's hard, and I don't know where I have no system. Sometimes I tip 20%, and then sometimes I'm like, what did I just tip for? That nothing happened except handing me my food. So it's like I don't. That's
hard to assume like with small businesses, maybe that's just for them.
I
would hope so.
I hope.
I mean, I would think so, but you do have a point with like these large chains, these restaurants.
Like you've Texas Roadhouse. It's always packed. It gets tons of revenue.
They get paid.
Yeah.
You get paid.
Well, it's mainly tips though, I feel like. I don't feel like their hourly is much different.
They are. They have an hourly. I think
we'll have to get back with that.
Yeah,
because
we
I'll
have
have
to
to see.
do a follow-up
Do a follow-up on that.
I'm pretty sure they get paid.
I know you make good money because it's always packed.
You know what? It might be for like certain
managers or things. Yeah. But it doesn't matter because they're a place that makes tons of money because they're always busy. Yeah. Again, they do a bunch of takeout. The takeout's where I struggle, but I do think it used to be more 15% and it's just continued to grow. I mean, I know tons of people that consistently do 25. It's hard because you do have to tip for these people because if you didn't tip, they're not making money on that. So you do have to tip. But again, like I said, it just is screwing the consumer. Right. And you see that so much with, again, these billionaire companies of pay more, charge you more for this while they're making millions, maybe even billions of dollars. Some of these, especially the chain restaurants and things like that. So, and that's where kind of Costco and some of the other places I try to shop at because Costco is really known for he doesn't take nearly as big of a salary as some of the other CEOs, pays employees really well, they gives them good benefits. It's definitely something I look at when I'm shopping and respect
Costco's
that.
Very good with their employees.
It's great benefits
like
and
like people.
Yeah, they do.
I definitely try to look at those places and notice where to shop and where they're respecting their employees and their customers because the charge is the same as same club and other places. So clearly it's not making that much of a difference.
Have you guys heard of that gangster ass story about the Costco CEO? Okay, so apparently they were sitting down at a board meeting one time and I don't know the CEO's name, but his VP, was like, hey, maybe we should raise the price of hot dogs just a little bit. So the CEO, is like, let's go outside for a second, me and you. They go outside. He tells him, if you raise the price of a hot dogs, I will end you right here and right now. At that point, I'm like, all right, it stays at 150. I don't want the smoke. That's something they're known for. And it's kind of makes companies know they're known for that. And like the Braves games, like the stadium, they're known for cheaper like hot dogs and things like that. Because really, concessions isn't where these places are making their money. But it promotes people to buy it and come to the games because you're like, oh yeah, look at that. They're only charging still $1.50 for hot dogs while whoever down the street's charging $7. And like, especially at football and sporting events, they charge, I mean, you can spend $50 on food if you buy all of it there. So it's gone crazy. Costco. And it's only $10 for like a super large pizza.
Pretty good.
It is.
You can get like a slice of pizza for $2.
No, it's Sam's Club and Costco are kind of a hack, but
you guys know what's like the like best food item in Costco? I will live and die by this. The chicken bake. It is so good. Okay, let me tell you what it looks. So it's basically like a phallically shaped piece of bread, right? And it's got like a bunch of melted cheese on it, and I think I've seen this. Yes, and it's got like it's filled with cheese and chicken, and it's kind of like it sounds like a calzone. It is very much like a calzone. Okay. Except it's like just chicken and cheese. It doesn't have anything else. Like you can't put like spinach in it or like jalapenos. It is what it is. But it's like the best 800 calories you'll have. Oh, there you go. Yeah, go try it. It's only $4. $4, 800. Yeah, there you go. That isn't bad. Yeah. In this economy, there we go. That's what you gotta know. Sam's Club and Costco both. They definitely have some good deals. But it's hard if you're living on your own, you're not really trying to buy a 25 pack of
rice or things like that. All the rice is like 6-pound bags. I'm like, okay, I don't need all that. But
Isn't that why you said like your cat's overweight?
Oh god, yeah, my cat is so fat. Don't tell her I said that though. Jeez Louise. Okay, I'm not gonna rail on my cat because I love her, but boy does she eat. She eats and she eats and she eats.
Now, mine is interesting because she's less than a year old. She was a stray, but I had her over at my house for like 1 week, and she was in my sister's room for like a few days. My sister is the reason my cat is a glutton.
Really?
Yes, because she just kept feeding her, and our girlfriend were like, "Why is she so big?" And my sister told us, she was like, "Oh yeah, I just refill it every time it's empty." And
I was gonna say these sound like owner issues, not cat issues.
So
But
like ever since then, my cat is a glutton
Yeah.
because I can just pick up the bowl and she just freaks out. Like,
Just
yeah, it's crazy.
here's the thing. It's not an you can't if you look at my cat, you can't say no to that. You can't say no to
that's
your little cat child.
they give you the puppy dog eyes, but the cat eyes.
Yeah, so no, it's not the owner's fault. It's the
Okay.
manipulative cats.
Oh,
There's an
okay.
agenda to get us to feed them for life, and
Wow.
it's worked.
There you go. Yeah. Well, Zay's cat was a stray that he found on the way to.
That's true.
Yeah.
So look, the interesting thing about how I found my kid, so me, my girlfriend, and a few of our friends from Carolina's friends, we were going on this trip down to Florida. We kind of do this annual trip every year, and on the way, we stopped in the hometown of a friend who passed. She had, lost her to domestic violence. So we were waiting on her mom to take us to our friend's grave. And my girlfriend's like, "Oh my gosh, there's a cat," literally right next to my car. So we're at this little country gas station, like trying to lure this kitten while we wait for our friend's mom. Long story short, we got her. She had fleas. That trip was stressful because of that, but it was worth it.
Good Samaritan right here.
It's a tortie. It's a tortoiseshell, and tortoiseshells are known for like luck and things like that.
Oh,
The tortoiseshell is a style of cat.
Zay's feeling super lucky.
They're like the like brown and black and white. It's kind of hard to describe. The best way I could describe it is like a Reese's puff.
Yeah,
Like,
Reese's.
yeah,
Beat him
literally.
up. Beat him up. Beat him up.
I remember that.
Commercial.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember the Pop-Tart commercials?
I remember
No.
the Apple Jacks commercial.
The Apple Jacks one's good. Yeah.
With the cinnamon, the Jamaican cinnamon
Yes.
I
man.
don't remember the Pop-Tart. When there would be like the cartoons.
It's like Red Bull style cartoons, right?
Yeah.
But I don't remember which one specifically. Like, do you remember a specific one?
They're just like little memories in the back of my head.
Oh, by the way, guys, Fruit of the Loom had the cornucopia. Do not let anyone gaslight. You guys know what Fruit of the Loom is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys know the logo, right?
Oh, there's like that. What do they call that when you think something? Because it's kind of like the same way, like with the Chick-fil-A spelling. Like there's some way some people see it, and some way others. I don't remember
The
what that's
Mandela
called.
effect.
Mandela effect. That's
Yes.
it. Yes.
So
Yeah.
the cornucopia is real. So
It's real,
Fruit of the
okay.
Loom, you know what a cornucopia is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't know that until this phenomenon, but apparently it always existed. And I guess somebody's been trying to gaslight us into believing it didn't.
Really?
And then just
Oh.
recently there was a post where they pulled up an article about Fruit of the Loom and the cornucopia, and somebody took a picture of an old shirt in it. There might be some government conspiracies into them gaslighting us.
Wow, that's big. That's a big jump there.
The subway,
That is a big jump.
the subway stuff too. The Berenstein Bears.
Oh, those books.
Yeah, do you guys remember that?
Oh, I know those. I read those books. A lot.
How do you spell Berenstein?
I mean, I don't know in general, but I have heard about this.
Yeah. So
Because I would say like BERNSTEIN.
I always thought it started with the word bear because they're bears, like BEAR.
Oh well, that would actually make sense.
No, I think it's the other way.
You think it says BEREN?
I don't know. Guess we'll find out, but we'll table that for next time.
Okay.
So Zay's Good Samaritan. So what's your volunteering? Good Samaritan. What have you been up to?
So normally I go to this church. Like they have this thing every Friday from 11 to 5 is their shift, but from 3 to 5 is when they hand out food. It's called Friendship Baptist Church. It's right next to downtown Duluth in Gwinnett. And every Friday, 3 to 5, you could go show up as a volunteer to give food out, or just anybody. You don't even have to be part of the church. Show up; they'll give you a week's worth of food. and it's great for times like these. Especially when so I was there when they rolled back the SNAP benefits the first time, and they just stocked everything up because they thought they weren't going to get any more funding for that stuff. But a lot of people showed up, and thankfully it's still rolling. So every Friday, 3 to 5, Friendship Baptist Church near downtown Duluth, either go out and serve some food, and it's really fun to package it and hand it over, or show up and get yourself a week's worth of food. They don't care. They'll ask you for your zip code and how many people they're feeding so they could report it. But it's overall a fun time.
And stuff like that is
yeah.
very fulfilling, just knowing that you're helping somebody in need, and you may also need it yourself, but you just know that you're just doing the best you can for somebody who maybe have it worse than you. So,
Getting out in the community and
right.
getting to know people and getting to kind of see others' life stories. I think that's a big part of what we're needing in the world right now, is seeing from different perspectives and having some empathy for other people. But yeah. Thanks for joining us for the first official episode.
Hey.